Hey family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and today we are going to access the Morphin Grid as I talk about Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Let me tell you, this is one monster of a game, and I mean that in terms of all the space monsters, all the Power Rangers, the bosses, the Zords, the villains. This game has been around for so long, it has released tons of expansions, and if it is your first time diving into this game or you are a long-time player of it like I am, no matter who you are, when dealing with Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, your mileage will greatly vary. So yeah, I've been with this game a long time, and I've sunk a lot of money into it. Ooh, shh, don't tell anybody. I've also played the game many times, trying out dozens of different combinations. Probably even more than that. We'll say hundreds at this point because of how many characters there are. You know, I played it with friends. I've played it through game nights. I've played it solo before the official solo mode came out, which I have not played yet, but I know is a thing. I played it on Zoom calls. You know, it's like I've played this game so many different ways, and every single time I played it, it was a very different experience from the last. Like, there is so much mileage to this game that, you know, there's no way to cover everything and to really talk about everything. So this is 5 bullet points to my journey with this game, and I'm going to start all the way back at the beginning for when it first released. So come join me on my little excursion, and maybe you guys will have the same experiences. Maybe you guys have the same opinions, because I'm going to talk a lot about it, and let's have fun together. So only really appropriate thing. Ready? It's Morphin Time! Number 1. This was my very first Kickstarter I backed. I want to say September 2018, maybe late August, but definitely into September, because September it finished. That's when this Kickstarter basically kicked off. I was there to see it because I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. I always have been. I've been with the Power Rangers since the beginning in 1993. And even then, I dampered a little bit in the Super Sentai. So I was familiar with the multicolored superheroes calling on giant robots to defeat monster concept. And Power Rangers was just a home run for me. So when I heard about this Kickstarter that Renegade was doing, I jumped all over it. And let me tell you, I was not expecting what I got. This Kickstarter pretty much set the bar for me personally about how I would want Kickstarters to be going forward. I mean, this one had everything in it that made it exciting to come back to, not only at least once a day, but multiple times a day. We were hitting stretch goal after stretch goal after stretch goal through the entire run of it. They were adding in new stuff at the end, which was like super exciting to see. I think like Lord Shiva from Super Samurai was in there, and Goldar was like the very last one. So I was like, yeah, go. And then like all the different monsters. I was in it, Robo Gold, and like seeing all that stuff. And then like as it went through the campaign, we were getting videos about gameplay, previews of what the cards look like and their special abilities, and just, you know, unique dice, and just, oh man, there was so many cool things about this Kickstarter that as you followed it day to day was like, oh my God, that's great. Oh, they opened that up. Oh my God, that's cool. You know, and it was just so much fun to actually have that experience, especially as my first Kickstarter, because I know a lot of people don't like Kickstarter, or they find Kickstarter runs very boring, very bland or whatever, but Heroes of the Grid was exciting from the get-go. And I've actually been to all of the Heroes of the Grid Kickstarters since then. I have currently, as of this video, 19 backed board games since 2018, which is really not a lot because I know people do a lot more, but I have 19. 4 of them are Power Ranger related, Heroes of the Grid related. So if I do one more, 20. So that's you know, quite a high percentage of just Power Rangers and everything in it. So this was just so much fun and so cool to go through. And again, every Kickstarter I back from there on out, I kind of use this as my overall bar, and some went above it, some went below it, but honestly, that's for a different video. Number 2, as a longtime Power Ranger fan, this was a no-brainer for me. So the Kickstarter followed MMPR, that is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That is your original 1993 Power Rangers team of Jason, Zach, Trini, Billy, and Kimberly. Inside of the Kickstarter, you also had two special boxes. I think the green light and the white light and green with evil or something like that, where it gave us both Tommy as a Green Ranger and Tommy as the White Ranger. Those were separate expansions, part of it and everything. Those would not be in the base game. Base game are the 5 Rangers: Rita, Pudgy Pig, Nasty Knight, and I believe Bones and Madame Woe. Madame Woe is also in it. But at the time, and then you're starting to see all the other monsters come out from MMPR and everything. And it's all MMPR, all Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 1993. There wasn't really anything from the season 2 at all, aside from White Ranger. And at that time, in 2018, and then when I finally got it in 2019, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? They have all these different seasons, blah, 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 and they have so many things to do here and there. And then time went on, and Renegade started announcing more and more Power Rangers. You got the Zeo expansion. You got the Dino Thunder expansion. You have, there was also the Shattered Grid expansion that came out, I believe, along with this and everything. It was just another thing that you buy on top of it that had the Hyperforce Power Rangers in it, which was Hyper RPG, a Twitch streaming service and what was it, podcast group that plays tabletop RPGs. They got permission from Saban to make their own Power Rangers. They made Hyperforce, and from there we were able to get the Hyperforce Rangers. Paul Schreiner, who plays Bulk in the original, played Jack in that. You had Andre Meadows, Black Nerd Comedy, who is Eddie Banks, the Blue Hyperforce. This is a really cool all-star cast of characters that played Power Rangers that never actually appeared in Super Sentai or in American live action. This was only done through that, and then it was translated to a comic book, which was all Shattered Grid stuff, which introduced Lord Drakon, which was the evil Tommy from the future. Like, I can go on and on talking about this stuff. I really can, if you couldn't tell of my fandom of this IP. Back then, when this was released, I was super excited by everything that they had, and then wondering what could be more. Now, in 2022, here I am with the latest expansion that just came in, Time Force, and then more Foot Soldiers that just came in, and I still have the same reaction. What can they do next? Who are they going to put out next? What's going to be the next team that they focus on? Please let it be Jungle Fury, because I love Jungle Fury. It's probably one of my favorite seasons ever. They already did In Space, which is my favorite season ever. But there's still so much more. This is why this was a no-brainer, because everything in here starts to think about what can be in here. And every time I see something new, and every time Jonathan Ying, I believe it was, that the designer of the game puts something out, I just get super giddy and like, oh my God, take my money. Shut up and take my money. Number 3, the replayability of this game is just unreal. And that's just coming off of the base game. So a general game of Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid is you choose anywhere between 3 and 6 Rangers. Generally, it's 5 is what the number kind of goes with, but there is 6 Ranger rules, because you got to have a 6 Ranger from time to time. And if you're doing any type of solo mode, I believe you need at least 3. Even if you're playing 2 players, everybody is 2 Rangers. So you may pick 2 Rangers, but somebody else picks 2 Rangers. So you're going to have 3 to 6 Rangers that you choose from in any combination. There's 4 monsters in the base deck, so you're taking any 2 of those, and then Rita as, by herself. So that's just the base game. 2 monsters, 3 to 6 Rangers, 3 to 5 Rangers if it's the base game, and Rita. Okay, so that in its own right is a ton of combinations, plus 2 Foot Soldiers. The base game only has 2 classes of Foot Soldiers, but I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more out now. Something along that ways. If you had the Shattered Grid with it, you got another one. If you had the Shattered Grid go with it, you had 5 more Rangers. You had a new boss, 2 new monsters. Every time you add even 1 new Ranger or 1 new monster to the mix, you're now creating a completely different gaming experience for yourself. One round, you may say, I'm going to play as Jason. I'm going to take on the role, a leader role, and all my cards are good for support. Boom, do that. Boom, you do this. Boom, you get enhanced. Awesome, great. Next run, I'm going to play as Trini, where all of her moves are kind of double attack moves that are set on her. So we do a twin saber strike, we play another one immediately to do damage, and just kind of bounce around the board and do that kind of stuff. You want to play a more strategic thing, go for Billy. Like, every ranger, and I'm not even talking about just the base game, I'm talking about every ranger that has been released so far, out of everything, feels and plays very different. Now, there are similarities. A lot of the Blue Rangers are statistically, thought, maneuvers, getting yourself, set up for in combo type deal. Red Rangers is generally your leader one, so they have a lot of support roles, but then they also hit very hard. You have solo characters like the Green Ranger here, who is better by himself. There's a few characters like that. Pinging characters like Kimberly here, she likes to just pop off really quick shots and everything to knock down people. Powerhouses like the Black Rangers. A lot of the Rangers play very similar, but no one plays exactly the same. Same thing for the monsters. Each monsters have abilities and attacks that you have to deal with that's very unique to them, that you'll find as like a Power Ranger fan, in a sense, is very thematic for them. Like Pudgy Pig here will eat your weapons. The combinations that you can make between all the monsters and all the Rangers will just keep going back for more. I have not played nearly every character. I have them all, but I definitely haven't played against every monster. I definitely haven't played every Ranger, and at some point, I will do that. It's going to take lots and lots of plays, and that just means my money is going to a good cause. Number 4. Solid co-op gameplay that totally relies on teamwork, just like a true Power Ranger team. I do have a few gripes with this game in terms of when I watch an episode of Power Rangers, there are certain key points that happen through every episode. Human characters see something's wrong. They fight the foot soldiers as humans. A monster comes and dominates them. They morph into Rangers. They fight back. They beat the monster. The monster grows. The Rangers summon their robots, Zords. They're called Zords. And, the Zords come. They fight the monster. They form the Megazord and they win. And that's literally like the formula for a Power Ranger game. The only problem with this game, to me, like for my opinion at least, is the lack of giant monster fights. Now, there are giant creatures and giant characters that you can fight and have their own unique gameplay mechanics to them, but you're still only fighting like Mega Goldar here as a Power Ranger. And this, character here represents the Megazord, which you can unlock Zord. You can unlock the Megazord, but there is no like direct combat between the two. You have to earn your Megazord in order to earn its special ability in order to be able to use it. With that said, one of the biggest positives and pluses, and really what makes this game amazing, is its teamwork. Like, I don't want to even say mechanic, because it's just kind of how it works. Like, everybody talks about the cards they have, the abilities that they have, and who can do this, who can do that. On a Ranger's turn, any Ranger can go, but it's like you want to play a card, play a maneuver that then lets somebody else play something, that lets somebody else power up something, and you get yourself so hyped up and so strong that when you attack, you guys feel like you're really combining your efforts and combining your team strength in order to overcome the foot soldiers or the monsters or whatever it is there. There is a luck factor to this. Don't get me wrong on this. These dice are cool and all, but they're all custom dice. The base name comes with white dice. I bought all the color dice, so I have different colors for all the different Rangers. But you have a 0 on it, which doesn't do any hit, a single shot, which does 1, and then I think 1 space on this. Yeah, 1 space has a double hit on it. So whenever you roll, there is a chance that you could flub the roll completely. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna roll these four dice right here, and let's just say I do a 4 dice attack against somebody that has 5 health to them. I whiffed 3 of the shots, so they're zeros, but I did do 2 damage to it. And then, maybe somebody has something that can mitigate the dice or add more dice to the attack or something like that. So a single shot may not always be the best choice of action. As you see, I rolled 4 dice and I only did 2 damage to something that was 5 health. But that can always be changed and can always be adjusted depending on what your ranger's abilities are, and if, you know, friends choose to help you with them and everything. And I think that's probably one of my favorite things about this game, is playing it with other people and seeing how they play, and also seeing which ranger they generally gravitate to. And then they just kind of, they go with it, and that's what makes the game fun. Finding your key ranger and making them your own. Point number 5, and let me know that I'm not alone with this. I love organizing this game, especially when new things come in. I definitely need something better to organize everything I have, because it's not working. It's working now. It's still continuing to work, but it's getting very, very close to not working anymore. So anybody out there who's a big Heroes of the Grid fan that has gotten all the expansions and whatever, please, 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 please link me something in the description below, or let me know what the name of it is, something like that, that I can kind of put stuff in. I would like to keep everything together, specifically the minis. So as far as the cards go, I have 2 of these. These are probably one of the best things that Renegade put out. Let me move these guys to the side and talk to you about these card holders. And I ended up having to buy 2 of them, because with the amount of stuff that's out, 1 is not enough. So this one is, that's just some labels for when new guys come in, which I have to put in Time Force. This one is strictly Power Rangers, as you can probably tell by the colors. I'm not a big fan of sleeving. I have to sleeve this game, and as you can see, every Ranger has their sleeved color, and I would purposely buy everything, you know, that specifically goes to that color Ranger. And then any of the tarot cards that has the Rangers on them. I pulled Santa Claus, of all people to pull. These are tarot card size sleeves and everything. So this is just the Rangers. That's all this is. Let me put this back on. And then I have the second one. Yeah, please nobody fall. Yeah, which has my space villain. So I have all the monsters on here. You probably can't see who's who, but all the monsters are here, bosses are here. I'm starting to have all of the foot soldiers here. I have the new foot soldier set that has to go in here as well. I have all of the dice in there, so I can just kind of drop this in that. And then any of the extra cards, the master cards, which is like a new version of villain that you can fight, a lot of the tokens, things along that ways. So these are where all my cards and a lot of my accessories live. As far as my characters, and please don't hate me for this, this is the Kickstarter box. This is the exclusive box that was originally designed when the Kickstarter came out in 2018. It was very much expressed at the time that they weren't going to be making more of these, but really you can go online and you can buy this right now. This is also where you would get, I believe, your White Light and your Green with Evil expansion as well. So all that would be in here in addition to whatever you buy otherwise. But this is a massive box. It is freaking huge, and it has some great art all over it, and even on the inside it does. But again, don't hate me, don't hate me. There's going to be a whole episode at some point of a family meeting about storage solutions and whatnot, and this is definitely one of those on it. Everything's just in here. It's all, the rest of it is, like, I have all the instruction manuals, all the boards, and everything is in plastic bags. I tried to separate the plastic bags the best I could, but they're just literally in here, and like all of the board divisions are in this as well. So it's still hard. Like the card holders makes it a little bit easier to set up a game, because I can flip through it really fast, boom, 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 and find it is who I'm looking for. The problem is then finding the minis and finding, you know, what boards that we want to use, what centers, things along that ways, because it's all just kind of mushed into here the best I could possibly do. So yes, again, if anybody out there has a better storage solution, please let me know, because I would love to put this into some type of like bigger container, but I don't want to buy a bigger container if I know it's not going to work. I tried little containers. They never really did what I needed them to do. I would like to have all of the foot soldiers separated, all of the Rangers. I mean, they don't need to be separated, but right now I have 2 bags of Rangers, one specifically MMPR, because this game has a lot of that in it, because it was 3 seasons of that, don't forget. And then another bag of the later seasons and things like that. And then, you know, just the monsters need to be separated. The bosses need to be separated. Like, that's in my brain and how I need to do it. That's how I need to do it. But I love to do it. I love to get the games and then put the new ones in and read the cards and sleeve them and all that other stuff. So that's one of my big enjoyments for this game, is every time a new edition comes out, adding it to the ever-growing list and just kind of putting it together and seeing what's new and what I may or may not eventually play one day, because it's just so much. So much. Now it is your turn. Tell me about your experience with Power Rangers Hero of the Grid. How much of it do you have? How much of it have you played? Do you think that the Guardian system, which is technically what this game system is now called, because there is a G.I. Joe game coming out, or is out maybe by the time you see this, called G.I. Joe Mission Critical, and it uses the same mechanics as Heroes of the Grid. They're calling it the Guardian system. Do you like that system? Do you think it's cool? Do you think there's other IPs that could go with this system now that they did Power Rangers and G.I. Joe? Transformers, please. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the game. And again, any storage solutions you can have. Please. I love Power Rangers. Let's talk about them. Please. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys are the best. Seriously, thank you guys so much for checking out this video and any of my other videos, commenting, liking, all that great stuff. Be sure to stay tuned to the Home Gamer Dad channel by subscribing. And, you know, I got a lot of other stuff coming out, you know, games, tutorials, Power Rangers stuff, all kinds of cool things. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you're going to be looking forward to stuff as well. But until then, remember, always be kind to each other. We're family forever, gaming together, connected through the positive energy of the Morphin Grid. Later, guys.